All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're on to our next segment, Killer Music. Thank you. All right, so I'm going to have Rudy Hernandez come up. Rudy Hernandez, host of your show today. And he's going to come up with Mr. Cesar Pina, who is also known as Flippin Nj on Instagram. If you ain't
everybody
following
knows
him,
who he is.
Follow this dude.
Everybody
okay?
knows who he is. Can we get everybody from the back in there who's just lounging? They got to come and see this segment. If they have any love for me, they'd come out. So can we get them out, please?
I'll get
them seated. Thank you, Dave. I appreciate it. So it brings me great pleasure to bring someone who I've gotten to know in the past few months very well, and who's changed the game in a different way on many different levels. Author of his own book, and I think many of you from Jersey know exactly who he is. He's the master flipper. Let's bring it up for Cesar Pina. Come on up here. But he's also getting walked up by my favorite boxer, the champion. If you didn't see him on ESPN a few weeks back, Mr. Edgar Berlanga, undefeated, 18-0 from Brooklyn, New York. Let's give him a round of applause. Champ of the world. Let's give him a mic. You get a mic? You got a word? You got some words to say to the crowd, or you're gonna be shy? No. Anyway, I wanted to bring the champ up here, give him some major love, and I would all love for you guys to wish him a speedy recovery in his fight that we were at and that we helped sponsor for Mr. Edgar. He tore his bicep, just got out of surgery a week ago, and is in full recovery mode. But guys, if you haven't heard the name, and I'm sure most of you have, you're definitely gonna hear the kid's name. He's the only boxer in history, correct me if I'm wrong, that in his first 16 professional fights, knocked out his opponent in the first round. Am I right or wrong? You're a super middleweight? He's a super middleweight Mike Tyson of his era. 16 fights, everyone went down in the first round. God bless the kid, good kid, love his family, new father, none but respect. I want everyone to wish him the best and a speedy recovery, and I can't wait to see you back, hopefully in Puerto Rico in March. My man, thank you. Appreciate you, all right? Now, you can have a seat wherever you feel comfortable, Cesar. Mr. Flippin Nj, because I'm gonna grill him today. Whatever you want. You can see, if you want love, if you want to just chill, whatever you want. All right, anything you want, Edgar. So let me get to my questionnaire here for Cesar. Cesar, why don't you go ahead and start us off with who it is you are, what it is that you do, and what made you who you are, and why are you so famous?
How you guys doing? So, my name is Cesar Pina. Most people know me as Flippin Nj. I am a real estate investor from Paterson, New Jersey. I've been in real estate now for about 15 years. Paterson. So I've been a real estate investor now for about 15 years. I started doing real estate seminars about 3 years ago with DJ Envy from the Breakfast Club. I also dropped my first book this year, #1 on Wall Street, Amazon. I've done a couple things, right? But my true passion is real estate, right? As far as rental properties, I own right now and manage around the country about 1,600 rental units.
Wait, say that again. Hold on a second. Guys in the back, guys in the back, guys in the back, guys in the back. I want you to hear this. How many? Stand up and say it.
1,600 rental units around the country right now.
1,600 rental units around the country.
I started in New Jersey, right? Flippin Nj, right? So I started in New Jersey, then eventually as the market started changing, I realized that for me to hit my road goal of over 1,000 units, I will have to go nationwide. So that's when I started expanding. So right now we own and manage 1,600 rental units, and I also flip about anywhere between 80 to 100 properties a year. The main markets where I flip properties is New Jersey, Florida, Atlanta, and as far as rentals, most of my rentals are New Jersey, Florida, and Chicago.
All right, can I ask you a question? And everybody's probably wanting to know this. How'd you get started?
I'm pretty much street educated, right? I don't have a fancy degree. I don't even have a real estate license. Pretty much I was always good with numbers, right? I always knew real estate was the way, right, to achieve true wealth, but I never really went after it. when I was around 18, 19 years old, we lived in this house in Clifton, New Jersey. We had moved from New York, and we lived there for about 10 years, right? And our landlord sold the house, and I was sitting on the table with my dad, and he showed us that after all those years that we paid rent in that property, it paid off his house. And now we paid off his house, and now he sold it again. And back then, you know, it was like the 90s. The house sold for like $140. But it's crazy, and I was like, yo, real estate is the way to go. So you figure at that moment right there I would get into real estate, but I didn't. I chose the streets. Like I said, I'm street educated. And everybody told me, oh, if you don't change, you got to stop what you're doing, you're going to go to prison. So I went to prison. I didn't listen to anybody, right? I knew everything, so I went to prison, right? So that's what happened. And then, but for me going to prison, it was a blessing, right? Because I could have went to prison for a lot of other things that I did that was worse, right? I only got like under 2 years. But in prison, I met a real estate developer. So as he was coming in, I was going out, and he taught me. I taught him how to bid because he's never been in trouble before. And then he told me about real estate. So that was back in 2006. I come home. My daughter was just born. My daughter was actually born while I was in prison. I come home, and it was the Wild Cowboy days, and I started doing mortgages, which is kind of crazy, right? I just came out of prison. I'm doing fucking mortgages. Like, you know, what the fuck is wrong with that picture?
By the way, that's news to me. I had no idea.
Yeah, but that's, you know, that was the market back then.
Right,
you know
right.
what I mean? I remember the first deal I did was a stated 100% financing. The lady was 80 years old, and I got her a mortgage.
Right.
She was on Social Security. That shit makes no sense.
Right.
Right? Like, how the hell did that get approved?
Right.
So I was doing mortgages. Shit was great. Boom, 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 making crazy money. 10, 20,000, just came home from prison. And then the market collapses a year and a half later. So I get out the mortgage business. I open up a restaurant. I'm not a fucking chef. My wife isn't a chef. But you know what? Good location. Let's open up a Spanish restaurant. We'll do great. My mother-in-law could cook. Easy.
My mother-in-law. That's funny.
Hell fucking no. We lost everything. I'm sorry if I curse, but you know, like I said.
You said you were street educated.
I'm street educated. I don't have a fancy degree. You know what I mean?
Hello.
So it is
You
what
get
it is,
some
right?
tax, right?
So at that moment, everybody was running away from real estate, right? I was in the restaurant for like a year and a half, 2 years. We lost everything. Our houses were in pre-foreclosure. We were losing everything, right? It was horrible. Every day I would go to work, and my wife, I would drop her off at the salon. Her and my mother-in-law were fighting in the car. Now I gotta go to work with my mother-in-law and deal with that shit all day. It was a nightmare, right? The only good thing about the restaurant business was that it got me. I used to watch novelas in the back with the ladies in the kitchen.
Okay.
So that was the only thing that I really learned in the restaurant business. So there was a property in Paterson, New Jersey. It was for $20,000. And I was like, shit, I see an opportunity here, right? So I got that property. I made $70,000, and I closed that restaurant the next fucking day. And I've been doing real estate ever since. So just like most of you here.
Good for you.
Okay.
So, do you have a number? So you currently own 1,600 rental units. That's a lot of units, by the way. But
it's gonna be 1,800 by Monday. I got too close.
I'm sorry. Okay. So, but
this guy tells me title in my sleep every 5 minutes. I'm like, Rudy, let's go out to dinner. But do you need a title? Yes, you're my title guy. God damn it.
So I got a question for you, right? So over the years, how many? I'm interested on the flips because your name's Flippin Nj. Yeah. It's his best-selling book, by the way. Yes.
Yes, sir. You should. I hope you bought it, Rudy.
I did.
Right.
Actually, I didn't need to. You gave it to me.
All right. I will make sure. You know, I give a lot of books.
So it's a #1 seller.
I was #1 on Wall Street. I was top 100 in USA Today. I was 7-time on Amazon, 7-time on Barnes & Noble. And
man, what a heck of a story, by the way. So in this market, how hard is it to find a good deal? How is it now compared to where it was when you were really warming up and getting your feet wet?
I think right now, right, in this market, it is tough, right? But the thing about it is that every single person in this room already has experience, right? Everybody's making money, flipping properties. So sometimes you got to go outside your comfort zone, right? So when I first started, I was buying houses in Passaic County, 70, 80,000, Essex County, right? Boom, boom, whatever. And I was like, I thought that was gonna last forever. It didn't, right? So now, all these houses that I paid 70, 80, 100,000, now they're all worth 500,000,
Wow.
right? Which makes no fucking sense. Like, because we saw that last market when everything collapsed, and then COVID hit. You're like, oh my God, I'm gonna lose everything, and it just went insane, right? This market's insane right now. So now what I do is I'm selling some of those properties. I take that money and I go to other markets where I could do the same thing that I did in Jersey.
Give me an example.
I'll give you an example.
You said Chicago.
I'll give you a deal right now. Look, I'm gonna give you guys a deal right now. Right now.
Did you purchase it already, or are you purchasing it?
Anybody in this room could get this deal right now.
Okay, go.
Right.
Shoot.
All right. 7,000 South Racine Ave, Racine Ave, right? This is a 10-unit building in Chicago, Illinois, right? Chicago is pretty much where Patterson, Newark, East Orange was like 10 years ago, right? That kind of market where you could go pick up a 3-family home under 100,000 and it's worth like 2-something already. Rents are pretty good compared to when I started. When I started in Patterson, rents were like $900, which is crazy. Now we're at $2,000 an apartment, which I couldn't even imagine that. Over there is already at $1,400, right? This particular property you could get right now, $420 is listed for. I'm cheap. I'll try to get it for $350, right? This isn't the only deal like this, though. There's like inventory everywhere, right? So you get this property for $420, right? Let's say you put 10% down, right? And let's say at $350 you put 10% down, it's $35,000, right? All right. Now, most of you guys in here know that when you get into commercial, it's based on the income of the property, right? That's what gives it the value, right? This particular property, the value is already, you're buying it at $350 is already worth $800,000, $850,000. So you got a shitload of equity, right? So very easy, right? A $35,000 investment. The building's worth $850 right now. This property doesn't even need work, right? So I'm telling you a property that's renovated already, not a property that needs work. You get that property, you go, a couple months later, you refinance at $637, right? That's your new loan amount, right? Boom, $637. Now, what do? Do you buy a Rolex? Do you buy a nice bracelet, a nice car? No, that's not what you do, right? So now you walked away with $287,000, right? When you refi, you got $287,000 to play with.
Put it back into another property.
That's it, but not even that, right? Now we're gonna take that $287,000, right? Divide it into 5, right? Remember?
Why? Why divide it to 5? What?
Because now I just bought 5 buildings. So I started with $35,000. Now that became $287,000. I take that 87, I divide it into 5, I buy 5 buildings. Now, when I do the same thing again and I refi all those 5 buildings, I got $1.4 million to play with. Now I take that 1.4 and I buy 20 buildings. So that's what you do.
So that's what you've been doing?
That's what I've been doing the last 15 years.
When do you know to flip and when do you hold?
It depends. For me, it's different, right? When I flip properties, I need to make at least net $100,000, $150,000. That's the number that I like. When it comes to rental properties, anything that nets me around $2,000 to $2,500, I will keep. That's the number, that I like. Yeah, that I clear, yes. Because God forbid something happens, taxes go up, insurance goes up, somebody doesn't pay me, I'm covered.
Did you have any hiccups in the flipping side of the business when you started flipping? Because that's how you started, yes? It was more of a flip business. Now you're more into development and you're not flipping as much. What type of hiccups did you run into when you started flipping? Like, is there, by the way, I gotta ask a general question. Is there an opportunity in this marketplace, or is it so saturated and you've got all of the data, you've got this down packed? And I've had conversations with this man because I've asked him, the flipping game, in my opinion, has kind of sideways itself because of the way the market has shifted. But you're still doing it. So, because you're savvy and you understand the market probably better than most. Is there an opportunity for anyone who wants to get into the flipping game? Is there still that opportunity out there?
Oh, definitely, right? Because properties are still going up in value. The market's not going to change at least for another 2 years, right? But the most important thing you got to remember.
Wait. Let me stop you there for a second. Agreed.
Yep.
But everyone here knows that market values are so high right now, and there's so little inventory, even though Tom said otherwise.
Yeah.
But there's so little inventory that it isn't like you're buying anything for below, or typically above. You're not buying anything above market value. So how is it still consistent with your game plan?
You have to adapt to the market, right? When I first started, I'm buying houses for $70,000. Then I'm buying houses for $100,000. Then I'm buying houses for $150,000. Now I'm buying houses for $250,000 to
because
flip,
you
or
really
$300,000.
truly so the value is going to keep
The
growing.
values are going up, right? Right now everything is going up. So you have to adapt to the market, right? Because back then when I first started, there was so many houses for $70,000, $100,000, and I was like, sometimes I would get into an argument with the agent or somebody and didn't buy that house. Now I pass by that house and I'm like, fuck, I should have bought that house, right? So the market always changes. Right now the market is in an upswing, right? And that's not gonna last. And what all you people in this room have to understand is that all you guys are making great commissions now. If you're a mortgage broker, if you're a realtor, if you're this or that, right? But when that storm hits, that you're not getting those commissions anymore, and now the average commission is on a property of $100,000, what the hell are you gonna do then? Because everybody now is, buying cars, going on vacations, posting that shit on Instagram. But when the market changes, and if you didn't invest your money, you're screwed. So now is when you got to think about later on. You sacrifice now, use those high commissions, and you buy some rental properties in different markets.
That's the move. So I see that we're running a little short on time right now, Cesar. I'm going to leave you with this. How long did it take you? And I can see there's some questions that want to be asked, so I'm going to get to that in a second. How long did it take you to scale your business from flipping to rental properties to now you're developing? How long was that process?
15 years.
Okay, so talk to me a little bit about the development side, quickly, briefly.
Well, development, I think, is still a great opportunity in New Jersey because land is still cheap compared to other things that you could do, right? Besides the flipping and the rental properties in the tri-state area, you could still get a good deal on land, right?
Give us an example.
Brief example. Yeah. Right now, I'm putting up a 50-unit building in Main Street in Patterson, New Jersey. I got the lot for $4.25 million. All in with my construction loans, I'm gonna be at $5 million, right? Same example I gave you before. I'm all in at $5 million, my construction loans, all that stuff, right? Boom. When I'm done and that building is already rented and I'm cash flowing, that building is now worth $18 million. Now I go to the bank, I refinance, and I walk away with $5 million.
And you just do it
tax-free.
And then
because there's no capital gains on bank money.
And you do it again.
And I do it again. I already got 10 deals like that.
All right, so it's evident and obvious that Cesar and I need to have a lot more conversations.
Just don't try to sell me any more titles.
He loves it. Don't even lie. All right, questions for the audience. I know some of you guys got questions. Go ahead.
A couple questions. When you say there's no capital gains on bank money, what do you mean?
So when you refinance the property, you don't pay capital gains because it's part of your loan. So even though I'm
You're
walking
not
away with $5 million, I'm depositing $5 million, I'm not paying taxes on that. It's part of my loan amount.
And on all the rental properties that you have, 1,600 all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have people managing the ones that the rental properties? You have property managements? Because you're not.
Yes, I have a lot of family members. And I just move them to different states whenever I take over.
So 1,600 properties.
Yeah, 1,600 rental units. So that's like my growth. Yeah.
Like you have a major Google spreadsheet.
Oh, I got a couple of them.
Awesome, guys.
Anyone else have a question? Yes, I'm bringing the mic to you. What's your name? All right, Ruben's got a question.
Hey, Cesar, how are you? Ruben
Hey, what's going on, Ruben?
Lifestyle International in the house. I know you do a lot
That was
of...
weak.
Yeah, seriously, right?
Where's
But
George?
thank you for
Where's
coming,
Lifestyle?
though.
Did
Thank you
George
for
leave?
coming.
Did George leave?
All right, you guys, we got to talk about this. Anyways, I know you do a lot of
call
flips
George
and
right
stuff
now.
like that. Where does the majority of business come from? I know you're a big auction guy. You have a lot of properties that you get from auction. How do you put your hands into auction? Because I tried many times, and I won the bids. And then when I went to claim the property, someone else took them. So I don't know if there's a loophole or something that you know of. I don't know if you want to share that with us or...
Well, right
deal
now,
with
to be honest with you, there really isn't no auction properties, right? Especially in the tri-state area because the whole COVID thing. But there is a flood coming. You are going to see a lot of properties after January, February. Our seminars were sponsored by auction.com, and I know they just hired like 1,000 new employees because they know, the flood is coming. But it's not a flood like back, in 08, 09, not like that. It's just the people that never paid the mortgage before COVID that haven't paid. Those properties, you're going to see a lot of those hit the market.
Foreclosures.
Yep.
Got it. Okay, sure.
So I just want, and I think a lot of people will have this question too, is a lot of times these companies try to get your money by saying, oh, we'll give you pre-foreclosures. And I think, isn't it like if you miss payments after 5 times, you start getting into pre-foreclosure, but then once they pay that money back, it comes right out. So how do you know when that home really is going to go to foreclosure? I mean,
Well, you could actually go to whatever county the property's in, and they'll show you who just got filed on. Because once you pass that, the paperwork, the docket number, everything, you're going to see the foreclosure filing. But those lists, I know what you're talking about, they're bullshit.
they are
They've been around
bullshit.
forever. I never got any deals from those lists.
right, so now that they don't have the auctions, are they coming back? Is that what
Yes.
you're saying?
Starting in the tri-state area, since New Jersey, New York, Connecticut were judicial states, all those properties, all those people are going to start getting foreclosed on. Before COVID, they weren't paying, they were about to get foreclosed on. You're going to see that wave hit.
So you go to auction.com to see when those auctions will be
Yep,
and where?
I get a lot of properties from auction.com. I get a lot of properties from Hubzu. Pre-COVID, I want to say in the last year, once COVID hit, I probably still picked up about 20 properties from them. But around the
Sight
country.
unseen?
Yes, I buy stuff without even looking.
Yeah, most
Yeah.
of them.
A lot of them, yes.
Incredible. That's interesting. Guys, give a round of applause for Caesar. Thank you very much. My man. And Edgar Belanger.